Hello everybody! Today we're going to be doing a fuel pump. I'm going to be throwing in a DW 300, 320 liters per minute, hour, day, 762, whatever. Alrighty, here we go. So right now I'm just trying to figure out where the fuel pump is. Some cars, they're underneath here. Got to take all this stuff out. And I really highly doubt it. It'd probably be right under there if it was. This comes out. No, let's just take it out. I don't know where my head mount went, so I give up. Looks like all this stuff kind of just comes out neatly. So if I can keep it in a neat pile. Just put you down for a second. Enough staring at my butt. Alright. So it looks like it's right here. I was going to... I was going to take my seats out. But that's starting to look like kind of a pointless deal, so I'll just move my seats forward and push the seats forward. That should help. Alright. There she is. Yeah, it doesn't look like it would help me any if I pushed my seats forward. Might make it a tad easier. Anyway, it looks like a Phillips 4 lows. Take those off and I will see you in a bit. Alright, so I got the cover off. I like to just throw the screws or nuts or whatever I'm working with next to the parts that go with the parts. It came off right here. There's 8 bolts that need to come off. These need to just back off. This takes out. This is just a Subaru's little clamp. I think it comes forward while you're clamping it down and then it just pulls off. I had a issue with fuel tank smell. I had a fuel tank put in, I guess, because it needed to be replaced. And I asked them to, if they drop the tank, please just swap out the pump. And I had the pump in the front seat, and that just didn't happen, so look at what I'm doing now, because I don't know if I'm doing ethanol or if I'm going to stay gas and do methanol injection, because there's tons of little cool little spots I can hide a little tank and then run the methanol up and through. And I like methanol. It's simple. And it doesn't eat away at everything as much if you're just misting it. All of it's bad though. It's not good for these old cars. Anyway, I'm gonna take those clamps off real quick. Just pop them off. And then undo those 8 nuts off of there and then pull the whole assembly out. And then hopefully do a video of swapping that pump assembly on, or this new pump to that assembly, the stock assembly, and how much modding has to go into it. Because it said, I've seen stuff that says it's a straight swap. I've seen stuff that they had to Dremel stuff, so we will see. Be right back. And pro tip, not really pro tip, if yours look like mine, as you can see, they're very rusty. The studs look fine because the tank is new, but the actual nuts are rusty. Just hit them with some WD-40 or whatever your lube needs. Take you. Also, those are an 8mm for the tank, and I just need to find my good 8mm around here somewhere. And I'll pop those off real quick. See you soon. Alright guys, I've been fighting this connection here, as you can see it. It's supposed to work is snap these in, and then this piece is supposedly just able to come right out if you keep these pushed in. Easy as that, right? Well, I've been at it for a long time trying not to break it because it's a holiday weekend. I'm not going to be able to get the part if I break it, so that is currently what I'm doing. I will, once I get that off, it's, like I said, just supposed to be able to pinch that and then pull the hose off. And the little plastic retainer stays. I went out and I bought like the little remover tools. Let's see if I can find one. Because I thought I was doing it wrong. And sure enough, that's not it. I bought one of these. Slips over, and it, yeah, the opposite of what I'm trying to do. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Like I said, we'll get that done. Once I get that off, we'll continue. Alright, so I got it. I suggest having a magnet for these because it's really easy to lose them. So just take your fuel pump box that you got with your fuel pump, toss it over here, toss your spares in there, but blink, just have a magnet by where you're working because, where did I put my tool? As you can see, you lose one of your bolts down there. It's going to end up on the inside of your fuel tank little brush guard, and it's going to be a pain in the ass to get, so just take your time with this part. Oops, sorry for blinding you, but yeah, just have it out there, have your finger ready, kick it over to the magnet. You don't have to do this if you have magnetic tools or whatever, but just wanted to share my fear. And the torque on these is not a lot. Check the manual, it's really low. You can break one of those studs right off, so be careful. Once I pull the assembly out, I will plop it on this table. I was about to actually break the little plastic guy. I was going to just snap the whole thing off and maybe even buy a whole top of the filter because it was not coming off. There's so much rust and gunk inside the connection that when I did pull it off, I'm glad that I did because it's the rust was making its way into the fuel line, which would have been amazing for your injectors. So, prepare myself off a little spot. I'm going to finish up taking out those bolts and then I'll plop out the assembly, and that's when the fun starts. See how close to a universal fit, or if it's going to fit at all. And probably for that I'll actually have the whole thing. I'll just be filming it. Alright, see you guys in a bit. Alright, so I got those bolts, put them all in here, hear them rattling around. Try not to block the speakers on this, it's so easy to do. Alright, so this thing comes up. There's a bracket on this model. It's holding some wires back there. You just pick it up. I do believe you push it back. And then you have to pull the assembly out. Carefully. Try to route these out of the way, but clear the studs. And like I said, my tank's been out once, so some of this stuff wasn't put back in the factory location. Alright. And I'm gonna stop videoing just so I have two hands and I don't want to do anything stupid, so be right back. Okay, so I pulled the assembly. I'm gonna take this. That's supposed to be glued on, but mine isn't. But it doesn't matter. Just gonna just like that, just to help eliminate any possibilities of stuff falling in. This looks like it's been in the car forever. That looks like a stock fuel pump, if I'm not mistaken. And it looks like I will have to be doing some wiring. Oh no, maybe not. There's actually a good chance I don't have to wire the harness that came with it, because it looks like the same harness. But you got that guy, which looks like a little inline filter. I don't know what the fuck all this stuff is. Holy shit, some weird stuff. Anyway, there's this thing to cut back vibration. I've heard that this does not fit with this pump because it is so long. So might have to get rid of this guy here, pop this up here, whatever this is, and then use some of this new hose. But let's the new filter for this comes with a little clip. So that's going to be the new pump. You can see the size difference. Much bigger. Hopefully I don't have a dud. Some extra hose if I need it. This is the wiring harness, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, it looks like my stock one will fit, so that'll be nice. I don't want to have to bust out the solder gun and make it all legit. So I'm going to take this guy off, take these clamps, pinch them, take this out. Try to avoid demolishing that. And yeah, check out the gasket. The gasket looks okay to reuse, so I'll reuse that one. If you're doing this and you have a high mileage, my tank was just out, and I think this had a lower mileage because the whole assembly just came with it, so they just plugged and played. I think my car did have a better fuel pump, but the shop just kind of swapped it and didn't even look. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that going and try not to break anything, and hopefully have this thing running tonight, because that'd be sweet. Alright, see you guys in a bit. Alright, just a quick side-by-side one more time. So I'm going to try to squeeze it into the stock assembly. I might have to lose this little rubber guy that sits down here. I don't think I'll have to lose this one, it's really thin. And this is adjustable slightly. I have longer hardware too that could fit in there if need be. I will replace these guys with the hose clamp just because it's easier for me. Otherwise I think you could probably just swap that line on. All it's going to do is sit up higher. So this would be touching this, which I don't see as a problem. I might just do that just for the the hell of it. I'm gonna try it, see what it looks like. Alright, be back soon. Okay, from my motorcycle days, this guy over here, I had to deal with fuel pumps, like, right off the bat. These things had issues with, the clearance inside here was too tight. So when they heated up, it would expand and then it would shrink and the pump would have to work against itself just to spin. So what I'm trying to get at is I have some experience with pumps and troubleshooting them. And I'm just swapping mine for power goals later, or just, you know, the peace of mind, obviously. I'm glad I did, because this thing is, you see this gunk all on here? It's nasty. That stuff, that was almost making its way into the little input. It would have made its way into the top of the pump. So I got all that cleaned out. Anyway, the cool thing about all this, not cool, I don't know what I was trying to say there. Excuse me, it's late night. This thing right here is extremely fragile. Not extremely, you could put some force onto it, but do not put any kind of sideways force. If it's, just take some WD-40, even a little bit of fuel, some clean fuel around there. I suggest running these as well. Some people say get rid of it. It doesn't matter. Just put another one up in the front. The thing about this is this isn't protecting your injectors. This thing is protecting your pump from just crud getting in your fuel tank. And yes, it's super rare. I took a peek into my fuel tank. It's super clean. I've been pretty lucky, I guess. But you go to some guy who dropped it on the ground and you know, you don't even know that there's stuff in there, and then you just plop it straight into your fuel tank, and it gets sucked up. No bueno. So, just take your time with this. There's the little flowback valve, so it doesn't, fuel doesn't flow backwards, which is good. Anyway, I don't have a lot of battery left, so I'm gonna get this all set back up, start wrapping it all back up, but pretty much this will fit in here. Like I said, it's gonna be really tight clearance. I want a little bit of space there just so the flowback valve has somewhere to go. As you can see, it's sitting right there. Bloop. So I might not be able to work out the little rubber piece that sits on the bottom, which doesn't matter. It might be a little bit noisier, but I've had cars with some really, really noisy Walbros, and they worked fine. Alright, see you soon. Alright, so this is it. I trimmed this twice. About that much. Used the hose clamps that came with it. I was able to keep this guy in here. Has the anti-flow back. The only thing I lost out of the stock setup was those little rubber garment, which is going to create all this noise. Which I think if you bent this down, you could fit it on there, but I don't want to risk an issue with this guy having issues later. Also, don't forget to add this little guy. It's same as this black thing right here. It just holds the filter on. It fits on there really tight. I used some, just a very, very small amount of WD-40 just to help squeeze it on there so I didn't have to pry it on there very hard. But old pump, old clamps, got rid of those. Like I said, it's just easier for me to get this. I've had horrible luck with fuel pumps I've gone through on this guy. I've gone through 3 fuel pumps, which is awesome. My Talon, I went through 2 fuel pumps, both Walbro. It ended up being this connection. When you're putting it in, make sure you got it in there really good, because it doesn't take much. That one went in really, really tight, and I had to force it in, and it clicked really good, so I'm happy about that. My Walbro one, I had to change it out on the side of the road several times, it was not, I had no luck with it. Even though I did run one in my Mustang, made 450 horse, easy. So, I mean, it's just hit or miss with pumps. I've just, you know, everything I mod, I usually put a pump in because you're going to need one. Pumps and injectors. And, yeah. So, old setup, big, nasty, disgusting, ugh. Still has fuel in it, so I'm going to drink that because I don't like letting fuel go to waste. I'm just kidding, don't do that. It's a horrible idea. I'm going to slap this back in there, plop it in. Wife's sitting upstairs, I'm sure super happy that I'm spending New Year's Eve down here playing with my car instead of hanging out with her. So I need to get this done real quick. Pretty much when you go to start the car up, if you did the steps before where you let the fuel pressure drop out, not a lot of fuel will pop out, and you also need to reprime the pump. So what I like to do is just turn the key on, you can hear the pump prime, turn it back off, back on again, prime, maybe do that 2 to 3 times, and then try to start. And then definitely don't try to start at first go because the pump's dry at that point. You need to get fuel up in there, and these things are meant to work inside a liquid, so they get hot quick, and yeah, you don't want any premature fill pump relations. So you're gonna get it back together, gonna prime it a few times, start her up. If she starts and runs good, then go take her for a ride tomorrow, and then not have to worry about a pump for a while. That'd be great. And I'm sure this thing's gonna make noise. Like I said, I lost the rubber part that goes from here to here. Also, depending on how cheesy your little filter is, make sure you just go over, make sure everything's clean before you place it back in. You don't want anything falling in. And then you're done. So if you have any questions about this, let me know. What I ended up doing for this connection, this piece of freaking shit connection that I hate so much, is as you can see, it's all grimy. I push these down. They're on the other side of this thing usually. Push them down, and then take a screwdriver. These two things will be pinned together at this point. Take a screwdriver right here, put it up against it, like, let me show you. Where did I put it? Like so. So it'll be up against those two. So I'll just fake like it's like this. And then you're just going to want to palm strike it gently over here, just a couple times. And first work it back and forth to make sure it's as loose as possible before you do that. And then just palm strike it a few times and it'll pop right off. If yours is as disgusting as mine. Otherwise, you normally just pinch them and then pull, and it's done. You don't need any special tools for the 04. Everything should just come right off. Alright, see you guys soon. Plop this thing right back in there. Also, one real quick thing. Since I don't know if a lot of people get to see inside there. I don't know if the GoPro's picking that up, but it's a pretty interesting design. There's little baffles all over the place. The pump sits in this one here. And then there's the fill tube. Goes into that chamber over there. And then the return line dumps whatever we don't pick up over here. So I'm not too sure how everything gets on to this side, but pretty interesting. Alright. Alright, the moment of truth. I've got the quick disconnect back on, all the hoses, everything, lines in. I let it vent out for a little bit. And I did not do the trick, re-pull the fuse. All I did was open this, take the two breather hoses off, or the hoses that go down in, and then that was it. No fuel popped out. So hey everybody, I waited till today to go take it for a test drive. I'm gonna go fill it up real quick, probably like 20 bucks, and go drive it around, check for leaks. So I can't see, I'm just gonna toss you guys back there, hopefully you can see. I have it undone still. See, everything's undone, and you can see down here hopefully. It's a good idea just to leave that undone for your first little drive around, just to check for leaks. Anything, you know, you don't know if you nick something on accident or if some weird thing's gonna happen, so you don't want to button it all up and then find out that you have to you know, tear it all back apart. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go drive around, gonna go put some gas in it, and then I'll button it all up, and then we're good to go from there. Noise wise, you can hear it. It's just it'll become white noise once I start driving with the exhaust and everything. So we'll see. That's about it. So yeah. Oh, and I guess the video cut off at the end, so this is going to be awkward. But when I primed it 3 full times. You could hear the first prime. It built up pressure and the pump sounded empty, and then you could hear it full of fuel. I did it off and then on 1 more or 2 more times, and then the car started right up, no hesitation or anything. So don't try to just straight start it after putting in a new pump. It's not going to work, and you don't give the car enough time to actually prime. So away we go.